Happy Friday, all. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight. We are going to play a little bit with goldwork couching tonight. So we did a little test of it last night. I did dig into it a little bit more tonight, so we'll be a little bit better. And I also want to try couching with some yarn and maybe writing subtext with it. So that is the plan for tonight. Thanks for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. All right, let's go. I have all my metallic threads here again, and it's time to give this another try. let's see. Okay, hello everyone. So I am gonna get right down in here today. We played. This week has all been about couching. Our embroidery of the month this month has been the Fuzzles that we've couched. All of these threads here are couched down, which means that they've been attached to the fabric with just tiny stitches. So they're basically it's another larger piece of thread that's just kind of floating on top there. So we have the Fuzzles one, and then we did the same thing with Scrappy. So again, we're just couching down these larger threads. And that is a technique that's used in goldwork as well. And so last night we played a little bit with some other techniques. So here's another thing we did. We couched down these larger blue lines that went all the way across. We couched them down with some little X's there, and I think that turned out super sweet. And then here it was a little attempt at goldwork stuff. However, I've done a teeny bit of research, and I think we can. I have a little bit more idea on how we can do that. So we're gonna play with that. So let's. Uh-oh, lost the back for this. Where'd you go, guy? Oh, there he is. There. These magnets are so strong that I don't even have to go all the way down and it'll hop back up. All right, let's start a new piece of fabric here. So I thought we could write something out here. Let me grab just a water-soluble marker here. Here's the fine line marker. I'd like to write something out with the text. Just something quick. And then maybe we can do just like something underlining it with the goldwork, just to give it a try. So why don't we do like hi. Let's just write hi and see if we can do this with the yarn. Maybe we go in a little loop like this. I need to practice like some calligraphy or something. That would be really fun to get good at that, I think. Okay, let's get this swooping down here a little bit more. I don't know how we'll do a little circle up here, but we will. So, all right, so here's my little hi. I think I exaggerated that I a little bit. All right, so let's try this with the yarn first. That's something someone asked. And then like, what if we do just like a swoop that we can do with goldwork? Ooh, that's maybe a little bit big though. We'll give it a try. So a goldwork that can get maybe it's thin to thick to thin again. Something like that. I'm giving this technique a go tonight. At least we'll give it a start. So, all right, here's our little design. We have hi with a swoop underneath. Kind of goofy, but I think for what I want to play with tonight, I think it'll work fine. Just kind of exaggerating this H a little bit more. Getting picky now. All right, let's give it a go. Okay, so I'm going to start with this yarn. I think it'll be a good warm-up too. So let's get this in the hoop. We'll center it a little bit more. All right, so the high part is going to be a whole lot like what we've done with the fuzzles. I'm just going to kind of follow the line with yarn. I think it's going to be kind of fun, actually. So let's just grab, and I'm going to tuck it towards the back as well, because I'm going to actually do that with the wire. So let's just make sure I have enough yarn here. I'm just kind of laying it out. This should be plenty. All right, snip. All right, I want to grab a thread that will go with this. So I think typically with couching, like with gold work, you'd probably use like a sturdier cotton thread or something, but I'm going to just use what we have here. So I think let's use this blue again. I think that was kind of pretty last night. All right, so this is plenty long. I think I'll do the 2 strands again. So I'm going to pull this one long strand out of here. There we go. And we'll do that in half method again. So, one of the ways, so I've watched a few videos before coming on tonight just to get a little bit more into what the gold work and that sort of stuff is, some of that process. And they did a lot like how we worked on the thread painting, where we did a couple little stitches on top, and that kind of locked the stitch in. Then you could always stay on the front, and you wouldn't have to go on the back at all. So I'm going to actually maybe do that now. I'm going to do my loop method on the front. We're going to attempt to just stay on the front of this piece tonight. See if that works. Oops. I went right through. All right, there's my loop. All right, so we actually need to go to the back for the beginning of this. So let's just start close to the beginning. We'll start right here. All right, so I'm going to leave like a little end hanging out this time, and we're going to deal with that later. I'm going to pull it to the back. We'll use the same technique when we do the gold work. So I'm just going to kind of come up on my line, and we'll just couch this guy down. Nice big chunky little bits that we're holding down. So I wanted to play around with this tonight because you can really couch anything down. So I think, using some fat yarn like this is just kind of a neat thing. It's already cute. Such a cute process. Cute stitch. Cute everything. So I'm doing kind of big stitches. I want to get through this quickly, and I got kind of a straightaway here. We'll make tighter stitches when I get to the top. And I could have made the stitches all equidistant, but I do want to get through this one quick so we can do the gold work. But look how fun that is already. It looks like hair almost. Be fun to do an embroidery like that. All right, well, let's get a couple on top here. Just to get that curve on top. All right, I'm going to go the other way. So now if this was gold work right now, I'd have to like crimp this end to get it going the other direction, but with the yarn, I don't need to do that. Shape it a little bit. There we go. Oh, this is so silly. I like it. Oh, Lisa says, reminds me of Rapunzel. Mary says, I'm loving these stitches. Yeah, this whole couching thing, I mean, we're covering a large area really quickly with it. Just a few little stitches. And it's just sweet. It's just something a little different. You can play with things other than just embroidery thread, embroidery floss, you know, playing with the yarn and everything. All right, this guy, I think I need to tug a little bit. Does look like Rapunzel hair. All right, so I'm going to kind of pivot this guy down here. So let's wrap it around here so we can go back up for the rest of that H. See how all that works with this big bulky yarn. Kind of funny. Let's do I'm going to go on this side so I can get really close to this other side. And we'll kind of squish it in, tuck it in there. There we go. It's totally like hair. Let's tuck this one in right next to it here. Oh, I'd pulled that last stitch out a bit. Let's tuck it in. Fun. All right, now we can go up around for the H. I could totally see doing this on a sweatshirt, though. Oh yeah, it looks like multi-banded hair for sure. It's cute. I think it's just I happen to pick this kind of, I don't know, blonde roving, I suppose, yarn. Kind of like a dirty blonde hair. Adds to that hair look that I wasn't intending. It's kind of fun though. Oh, Mary says, I'm still nervous about it coming out. So I think, well, I'm making awfully big stitches here, so we're making kind of some toe catchers here. So if I was doing this on a tea towel, I'd probably put the stitches a bit closer to each other. But I think the back will be fine because I'm going to actually pull this to the back using this lasso. It's called the lasso method. And it's used in goldwork, and I'm going to give it a try with the yarn first. It's nothing, there's nothing really to it. I'm like, oh, there's a whole method, but it's really just making a big hole with your needle before pulling a fat thing like this through. And you're using a loop to pull it through, so you're pulling it through like with a lasso. We're not going to thread this at all. Just like how we're not going to thread the goldwork, the wiring, or whatever, the metallic thread. So this is going to be like a little test of the goldwork, really, I think. This big fat yarn. Just kind of wanted to play with it first. Oop, I'm dropping the needle. There we are. Curve in here. I think that looks decent. Yeah, pulling out a little bit more. There we go. Now it's in place. Way more yarn than I needed, but I wanted to be sure. Just scooching that stitch up. Actually, I'm going to trim this a little bit already just so it's the bulk of it's out of my way. Don't need all that excess. We'll use that for the eye later. I'm not going to worry about the dot right now. I'd like to get to the the gold work. But I'll have to come back to that. Come back to that O. Don't want to leave it undone. Unfinished. Man, I just have just enough this blue too. Alright, and I'm actually not going to go all the way to the end, like to here, because I'm going to pull this yarn through. So I think for now, you know, I'm going to do that thing in thread painting called parking, where I'm going to stick my needle on here, or my thread minder, and I'm going to just park my needle up here. Usually you come to the front. Maybe I'll just come to the front. So I'm going to make, well, this is what you do with the thread painting too. Instead of tying a knot, this is going to get covered up. I'm just going to make 2 tiny stitches, and that'll kind of lock my thread in place. And then I'm just going to, I could snip that off, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll just park it for now because I think I'm going to want that later. So I'm going to try this little lasso method now. This is cute. I'm going to try the lasso method. So to do that, we need like a slightly bigger needle because we kind of want to make a hole here. Yeah, that's a really big needle. So really I'm just thinking like a needle with a larger eye, but I guess all my needles here are kind of the same. So I'm going to just grab, I mean, this is a really fat needle and like this is fatter than what I need it for, but I think it's going to illustrate this idea a little bit. All right, let's make a lasso with this yellow. So I'm just, again, I think the 6 strands is a little overkill for this, but I want to just see how this works. So we're going to make a little lasso here. So it's kind of like we're folding it in half, and I'm threading it. I mean, this is kind of a lot of thread for this needle, but all right, so this is our lasso. So we're going to actually prep our area first. So I want this to go right in here. So ultimately, we're going to lasso this yarn and pull it through to the back. So basically, the technique is make a big hole and then pull it through. So I am going to just kind of wiggle my needle. Like I got a fat needle here. You can already see I'm making kind of a big hole. And now I got all this thread. This is like 2 6 strands doubled up. So this is like 24 strands worth of thread. And I'm going to just pop it through. Oop, this thread is kind of getting in the way. Whatever. All right, so I pop that through, and they say to go through once. There, so now I got a big old hole there. I haven't torn any of the threads from this. They're just all kind of spreading apart, right? So then I go through again, and now I have this little loop here, my little lasso, and then we just kind of guide the end of our, in this case, yarn, but we're going to be doing it with the metal later, and we're going to try and pop that through. Okay, we got it. I had to tug pretty hard to get that. I mean, that was a lot to get through that little hole, but that's the lasso method, basically. And then I'll do the other side as well. So we still have our little lasso. I'm going to keep that here. But on the back, we need to do something with this now, and that's where I'm going to bring this thread back. That's why I didn't want to cut it yet. We're actually going to fold it, and we'll do this with the metal. We're going to fold it along our stitches, and I'm going to just kind of loop around and go in the backs of the stitches, and we're going to secure this thing by just going over it a ton of times. So this is why this is kind of big yarn, so I don't know if I'd use this on a tea towel, but in theory, you would just weave in the end. You would bring the thread to the back like what we just did, and then you would just weave in the end if you're going to do a tea towel with the couching. In this case, we're just kind of wrapping this guy up again, the same thing. We'll be doing the same thing for the metal. So this is just kind of a test of this. And I think, I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna, just to secure this, I'm gonna weave in the end through what we're already doing here, I think. That'll kind of make it into a little knot here. All right, and then we can snip that. And we can also snip this as well. So there, that is us securing our little yarn and using the lasso method. This is exactly the same thing that we'll do with the metal. And I think we'll ultimately do the same thing here, but I kind of want to just get started so we can get going on. Oh yeah, exactly like a needle threader. The lasso technique is like a big needle threader. Yeah, we're just like giants doing our needle threading. So, all right, we are going to basically do the same process with this swish. I'm going to show you how I saw the video do it. So I'm going to actually take 2 strands and put them right next to each other. We'll do one side, and then we'll do like the other side. Then it'll taper a little bit. So we're gonna try a few things. And I think, again, I probably wouldn't want to use embroidery floss. Normally, you'd probably want to use maybe like a stronger twisted cotton thread, but this is what I got, and so we're going to use it. So I'm going to just do the same thing. I'm going to get those 2, I'm going to do that loop method just to get going. Let's get a strand out of here. Oops, I might be making a knot here. All right, nope, we're good to go. I think that the hair here, that yarn was a good warm-up for this gold work. All right. I think you want like a waxed cotton thread, it sounds like. Yep, Sylvia, I'll if I ever finish this is just, I don't know, this would be kind of fun to finish, but I want to get to the gold work. So yeah, no, I would tuck this, I would finish this end like how I did over here. So it would end like right here. We'd lasso that and tack it down like we did here, and I would do a little O as well, but I want to get to the gold work tonight because this will be probably the last time we work on this. So I want to give it a try. So I'm just gonna again just start from the front because this will all get covered up later. And it's easier than flipping around in the back and stuff a lot. It's what I saw someone do for this. We're gonna make like a little stitch there. Okay, now let's pick our thread. My lasso, I'm gonna put that aside. We'll pick that up later. So here's all my Nishikito. Is it Nishi? Yeah, Nishikito thread. But I want to try using some of this other vintage thread that I've kind of acquired. And I was kind of eyeballing this gold. It's got kind of a neat texture here. I think it's kind of rounded too, which is a little bit what I'm looking for. We played with this flat stuff last night, and I wanted maybe a little rounder. And it's not so thin like some of the other stuff. So let's play with this. This is like some crazy vintage thread we picked up somehow, somewhere. And it's been sitting in my little bin forever. I've never used it. All right, let's get that tape off. So this is probably all going to completely unravel like it did last night with that other one. Come on, guy. There we go. I'm going to just trim the end off already. Oh, this is kind of flat yet. Well, we'll give it a try. I was thinking it was a bit rounder. Actually, the Nishikito thread would probably work way better here, but I want to give this a try. Okay, so we need a piece that's going to be long enough, plus, you know, a little bit extra that we can lasso through. So let's go right about here. Oh, it cuts really easily. I like these little shards though. A little nervous about those. Alright, I'm going to get 2 pieces right away, because that's kind of how they're doing it, 2 pieces next to each other. But again, I think the pieces were a little bit more rounded. But we'll give this a try. Oh, and there it goes. Just coiling off there. Just want to get it maybe stuck in the tape. I'll in theory use some more to finish this, but let's well, oh, maybe I can do that thing where I just pushed it down into the hole here. There, that held it in really well. All right, so we're gonna give this a try. Let's put both of these next to each other. Just trying to flatten them out of here, maybe. So we're gonna leave a bit of an end. So I'm gonna start it up a little higher off of the end as well. So, oop, caught on my little cloud, but let's move him out of the way. All right, I think I'm gonna come up on the outside. Yeah, I think that looks good. And so we're going to stitch 2 down at once. A little bit different than last night. Again, I think this is probably better if they're more rounded, but we're going to give it a go. All right, let's try and lay them flat. They look like bug antenna. Oh god, wouldn't that be? It'd be perfect for like a dragonfly design or like a grasshopper design, just like hanging out like this, wouldn't it? Ugh, how fun. All right, so I'm just trying to kind of move them around the curve a little bit. So this I am trying to stay sort of the same amount of distance apart. I'm not going to be perfect though. I'm just trying to get it down. So it definitely doesn't want to bend quite as much as the yarn, which makes sense. Trying to get the kind of the stitch down, and then I'm trying to just kind of push it in place a little bit. The threads. Get on the outside there. There, just trying to get them to lay flat, which they're not totally doing. Fun. Yeah, this would be helpful to have a stand, that's for sure, because I'd love to be able to hold it with this hand and still stitch with the other. So this is more of a stand type work, I think. Let's try and do that here. So I don't think that stitch is tight enough. I'm going to pull on it more by pulling on this one. There we are. All right, that looks good. Oops. Get in there. Ooh, it's looking just shiny and pretty though, that's for sure. Shiny and pretty. I must have flipped one, so one's curling up and one's curling down. And the curling up one needs to go on this side. There we go. It's starting to lay a little flatter. Fun. So we would do this on this side, and then we do it on the other side. We do it on this swirl, the bottom swirl side. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to try and lasso pull them through, which should be interesting with this crazy metal thread. All right, let's try and angle it up this way. Scooch up there. Ugh, fun. It's so shiny. All right, and then I think this will be my last stitch because the next stitch we would couch, or we would do that lasso technique down. All right. So I think we kind of got it there. I am going to try and, I'm going to come up again with my thread and kind of lock it in place a little bit. With those couple of stitches that we'll go over later. All right, and I do want to get these lassoed down right away because they're super annoying already, that long. All right, I'm going to just get, ooh, I wonder if this magnets to the metal. Nope. So I'm just going to put this guy here so I can temporarily just put my needle up there while we do the lasso technique again. So I think these can be cut down so they're about as long as the other ones. That'll be helpful because they're flying all over. All right, let's make our little hole. I'm going to make it right at the end here. So Gina's saying, can you imagine trying to actually stitch with that gold thread? So there's way better thread specifically for this. Like it's a little rounder, and there's actually a coil. It's called a pearl thread where you can, we're going to try and get both of these at once, where you can, where it's almost like a coil that you can stretch open a little bit, and you stitch in every coil, and that's kind of what you edge things with, it sounds like. All right, come through, little guys. Oh, I should have just, well, yeah, I shouldn't pull, I should just pull like at the ends a little bit. It doesn't really want to bend, so we're just going to pull through and see what happens. There, oh yeah, see, I'm pulling the whole thing. You should just really pull, kind of grab the end and pull that through. Luckily I have enough slack on the other side. There we go. You're pulled through. So those we can tack down. Ooh, it did break a little bit. I was a little worried about this. This is like old, weird, vintage metal thread. So I wonder if we can cheat it a little bit. Can I get a little bit more slack here? All right, I'm just going to try and tack it down and see if that works. Oh, my thread's all the way over here, though. All right, I'm going to weave back over here. Or you know what? I'm going to do the, let's do the other side quick. Get my lasso here. Should probably go through one at a time. Yeah, really, I could just thread this. That's what I thought when I was watching the YouTube of it too. So I'm wondering if there's maybe a reason not to. I suspect because of what I just did there. I should like not to have it on such a big bend or something. All right, let's try and just get these tips in. I'm actually going to take the needle off. All right. Oop, stay. There we go. See, now I can pop it through and I still have a little bit of slack. fun. All right. Yeah, because I'm damaging it up here now instead of back there like how I did here. So I have it broke here, and it'll probably break here where I pulled it through. But if I just fold it over here, and we'll do our stitching it down like what we did with the yarn, then that should be relatively protected. There we go. So just like how we did the yarn, I'm just going in the backs of stitches, which I don't really have a lot of backs of stitches here. So we'll do what we can right here. Maybe go down the row a little bit more. This is the part that last night I was like, well, how do they get it to the back? And then that's where I was reading about the lasso method. I don't want to twist them, or Catherine's saying maybe you can twist them together on the back. I don't really want to do that because I think they're a bit too delicate for that. I think I would break them. Oh, Mary says, I'm so excited with the Embroidery of the Month. I can't wait till March. I can't either, and that is like next week already. Or not next week. We have like one full week left, but then I think March 1st is on like the Monday, right? So we're getting there real quick here. For sure. I'm super extra excited for Marches. Alright, let's snip that, and we'll snip this extra metallic thread. And in theory, we do the same thing over here. Get my little fold in here a little bit better. I didn't quite do that very well, that bend. There, that's a little bit nicer. So here's our first like little line of gold work. I'll tuck in that other end here, but I'd like to try doing another row of it. I almost want to try with my Nishikito thread because I think that's going to be a zillion times easier. I know I'm not going to match it perfectly, but I want to see how that works. I think that's probably going to be nicer. So I'm just going to go around here a few times. I don't have the end woven in here, so we'll have to deal with that too. Oops, and pull that thread a little bit. There we go. So this isn't going to be great because I have that broken end here because I pulled it through. Kind of funny. That's totally got to be why you just pull the end through, not the whole thing kind of right at the base like how I did. Alright, I think that's good enough. Good enough for what we're doing. But what I've seen for like these threads, when they're getting really big threads back here, they're really weaving it in. Like they're almost surrounded with the yarn or the thread, the floss. Let's grab this just a hair. Or like grab this and just weave it into. Oops, get back in there. I weave it in. And actually, I'm not going to weave it all the way in. I'm just going to do it right like that, just so we can get at it right away. Since I probably won't save this piece for anything. Just learning. Oh man, that's sparkly though when you flip it over. That's really cool. All right, so I am going to try some of this Nishikito thread instead. And that, again, is my super duper shiny Japanese metallic thread. It's got it has like 4 little bits of like this gold floss stuff here. I'm going to try using that instead, and let's do 2 pieces again. So, with the little end. So this is a little bit more coppery. I probably could find a color. I have a lot of this in different color gold, so I probably could have found a color closer to the gold that we already are using, but that's okay. We're going to do it this way. I must have used this already, so I got a nice piece of tape on top to hold it in. So now in theory we'd start at the bottom, but like if it's too thin, so like it's kind of thin right here, I might only stitch through one of the threads and then we tuck the other thread underneath a whole lot sooner. Got a little funny fold here too. So let's get our couching thread. Guess I'll just start another long piece here. Oh, here's a piece up here. Oh, that's attached to fabric. Ooh, we have a lot of March birthdays, it sounds like. That's fun. Some early spring birthdays. Doubling this up again. Waxing it up. So this waxing of the thread seems to be definitely a thing done in this gold work. It's just protecting everything a bit more. Okay, let's get rid of the needle minder for a bit here again so it doesn't get in our way. Nope, those aren't metallic either. I'm curious if, or not metallic, they're not magnetic. Kind of curious if any of this gets on the thread. Okay, so I'm going to do the loop method from the front again and doing that kind of stay on the front method. All right, and I think we're going to start, we'll start right on the edge here again, but I think I'm only going to grab one of the threads to start out. We're going to grab both, but I'm only going to stitch through one. So maybe I should just start with one, because I think it's too, well, they both kind of fit in there still. Let's put both in. These are skinnier. If I were to use the other one, though, I would probably just do the one. Oh, and we need our longer edge, so we can tuck it in, do the lasso method. This is going to be less likely to break, too, than this other metal. Okay, let's get those laying the same way. All right, and I'm just going to do kind of the same thing, but down the bottom edge. I want them to lay flat. I wonder what the theory is of doing two next to each other. I suppose just you're doing a lot less stitches, so like your stitch is making a gap. So if you're putting two next to each other, then maybe you lose that gap a little bit. Oh, Patty. Okay, that's a good suggestion. Patty's saying she wishes I sold the wax in the shop. That's something I can definitely look into. Ooh, this is going to be pretty, this Nishikito thread. I'd like to maybe carry some of this as well. Ooh, that's a mess. pretty, but look at it next to each other. It's just going to be pretty. And then if we keep filling it in, I mean, I don't think we'll get to all of that tonight. But actually, we can keep working on it without tucking in all the ends. I just wanted to do it that one time just so we could see, because it is just like what we did up here. But we could just keep filling this in for a little while. I think we have enough time for that. That would be kind of neat. Because now, only one strand is going to fit in right here, and then back over here we'd probably need 2 strands again. This thread is a lot more flexible too. It's going around these curves way, way, way nicer. Another fun use for this Nishikito thread. I've only ever embroidered with it. I haven't done couching like this with it, so it's fun. There we go. Stay in your lane there. Trying to keep them next to each other in the same way so they don't twist. Ugh, it's pretty. Look how shiny. Nope, the dish towels did not sell out again because we just left it on pre-order. So the pre-order, we'll just order the amount that's pre-ordered, and we'll probably get a little bit more. So the towels still should be there for the pre-orders. The original towels did sell out in 2 hours. And we didn't even tell you guys when we only told you guys here on the lives, and we didn't even say when we were gonna put them live, but you guys figured it out, and it's still sold out in 2 hours. The towels, the new towels that we got in hand. So we've switched them to a pre-order. So we'll ship out the ones that were ordered, the ones that we had. We'll ship those out early next week, and then the pre-orders, we should get those relatively quick, I'm thinking. They were pretty fast last time I got the towels, so yep, it's on pre-order right now, so check that out. Especially if you want to make sure there's enough for when we restock them, because I'm going to base the order based on pre-orders, and I'll probably get a few extra, but I'm not going to get a ton extra, I don't think. Alright. This is going to be my last stitch on these 2 rows. So again, I'd go all the way to the end here, but that will be the last, that's where I'll lasso pull this through, so I'm going to leave, room for it. Alright, but I kind of want to start another one right away. Let's maybe go the other direction because I'm already over here. That'd be cool. So I'm just going to come up right in the middle here. Let's get a couple more of those threads. I can actually trim this a little bit. There. We could get a whole nother, should we get a different color? Why not? That'd be kind of silly. Let's throw, I have this silver just sitting here. Let's throw some silver in here. Kind of a weird one to put with it, but why not? Let's do the 2 strands again. So I'm probably going to start with 1 strand just for the first stitch because I'm at a skinny little area that only 1 strand can fit. And then we'll add the 2 strands in. And the 1 strand will do that lasso technique too, so we're going to actually leave a gap, probably actually more than what I left here. Ugh, did I lose the one already? Oh, there it is. All right. And that'll be fine. We'll start with the 1 there. That'll lasso into that little gap. Eventually. Oh, look at it sitting in there. Cute. All right, we're going to go the upper edge here. So I think I'm going to actually only lasso the 1 in here again. Or or I'm gonna couch the one strand here, and then we'll bring the second strand in. Will be brought through like lassoed kind of at this point. So all right, so that's kind of a little fill with the just the one, and now I'm gonna add the two, and I'm kind of stair stepping my stitches now, or like bricklaying the stitches. I did the I'm going like in between the stitches from the last row. All right, get in there. Just holding down that new thread I put on. There we go. All right. So those two are side by side now. That's silver. Maybe I should have tried doing another gold one, but this is pretty too. Thought that felt funny. Had a little knot back there. I'm just trying to have them lay flat. Ooh, I don't want to pull it out either, though. Oh, maybe it already is on the right side. Yep, oh, we're fine. Good. And then you can just keep filling it in, and then when you're done, you tuck in all your little ends here. And that is the deal. We'll take a real close look at this after I finish this row here. But then I think we'll probably call it a night once I get done here. I'm not going to tuck the rest of these in, because I just wanted to give this a try. And this is really fun. I could see digging into this a little bit more. Some things, I would definitely use a stand next time, just because it's like having that extra hand. Yeah, you can tug on your ends a little bit and it'll get nice and flat again. But all right, I think I can do one more stitch with both of these, and then we'll definitely have to tuck them into the back, would be what I'd do with that. So we'll maybe try a little lassoing right now, just to see. But all in all, there's our bits that we have down here, and then you just keep filling it in. So now, like right here, only like one strand could fit, so I just put one, but then when I get to here, I'd probably add the two again. And that'd probably be enough to fill the rest of this space. But that's kind of interesting. That's like a fun little deal, and it's super shiny. I think it's really fun. Definitely something I haven't really done before. I'm just going to stick that in the top here. But I could definitely see getting into it a bit more. All right, I'm going to try going up here. Let's get the lasso here. I'm going to try and just lasso it the first time through, because this stuff is a little thinner. I don't think I need to go through twice to make the hole even bigger. This hole, like the big needle and the big thread, that's what's making my giant hole here. So I'm going to get that little single one that needs to go up a little farther, like right here. I'll just tuck them all to the back so we can see it, and then I won't wrap any of them right now. We'll just tuck them all back in there. So, oop, I'm going to lose my loop. Ah! come back here. There you go. All right, so this one we're pulling the end of this one through just the one. Lasso that guy. I'm just grabbing the end. There we go. Let's pop that through. Great. Excellent. So let's head to the back. There we go. So that silver one just got tucked into there. And I'm just going to do that a few times. Let's get my lasso. That's what I'm needing. We'll tuck in all the other ones on this end. So I think we can pull both the golds through. Let's try that. I think that silver one will go a little lower with that one. Kind of digging this whole lasso way of doing it versus trying to thread. Like with the yarn, that would have been difficult to thread, but just popping it through with the lasso, that's kind of cool. All right, that's looking good, and we'll tuck this guy in just a little bit ahead of those. Ooh, it's looking so cleaned up with it pulled to the back, though. I think we can actually fold all these over at once and like tack them all down at once on the back. All right, this one I'm going to tuck in right here. So it's going to end a little bit before the gold ones. There we are. Fun. Okay, that looks great. So obviously this Nishikito thread is looking way better, but so we can see, I'm going to get real close here. So this first one, we ended right here and we pulled it to the back because it was getting too skinny. And then the second silver one ends here, and then these two bottom gold ones end here, and then our first one with that stiffer metallic thread stopped all the way up here. But that's looking clean. That's looking pretty slick, I think. All right, so in theory, we do the same thing to the other side, and we would just have like a cleaned up swoosh there. It would be great with all the same color. I think you'd get like a really nice, just solid effect to that. That would be just really shiny. And obviously I'd want to fill in this space here yet. But fun. I could see playing around with that for sure a little bit more. That's neat. All right, I'm really happy we did that tonight. Just a fun little, just trying something new, right? All right, I'm going to flip you guys around here. All right, hello again. So here's what we got. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, look. Yeah, you can see how shiny it is, can't you? It just catches the light, all that metal. Ooh, it is so sparkly. Way more sparkly than I was expecting. Ugh, shiny. Okay. I'm having fun. That's neat. That's special, all that shine. And then just how large that yarn is. I mean, that's really kind of fun too. Definitely could see doing that on a sweatshirt, especially if you bring the end in the back and really kind of, you could even tie a knot and then attach it, just run some other threads around it. I think it'd stay pretty secure on a sweatshirt. That was a good experiment. I'm happy with that. All right, you guys. Thank you so much again for joining me here. So the towels that are on pre-order, I do have some right here. So they're the pretty gray check. So these are a 3-inch check. They're really like a big check here. These are all 100% cotton, and they're like 20 inches by 28 inches. So they're a good, decent size too. And they're in pairs. So each order, you'll get a pair of the same. Just because it makes sense to have a pair of towels, I think. It'd be weird to have just the one, I think. I kind of opened this one up. But this is just a pretty red stripe, so just kind of like a vintage red stripe, just like a skinny double red stripe, and kind of a cream background. It actually has a herringbone texture, that the red one. These ones are more even weave, and then this is like a navy blue. So really, really pretty. I would love to embroider on these. I think they're going to be nice, nice, nice for some fancy embroidered kitchen towels, some dish towels. So those are on pre-order. I do think they'll come quick though. I'm going to place the order for them early next week. So I'm hoping within a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks tops, we would have them ready to ship. And then the ones those of you who did get it in time in that 2 hours that they sold out in, yours will go out early next week. So you should have yours real soon here. I'm excited for them. I think we're going to get some more varieties of them in too, and it'll be a fun new little deal here. But thanks for the suggestions of products for sure. I definitely want more supplies in the shop just so we can have everything you need right there. So if there's something you wish we had that you didn't want to look around for and stuff, let me know. I think, yeah, some of these wax guys would be awesome. I was actually talking to my brother about making these. He's making candles now, so that kind of fits in that realm. So we'll see on that. And yeah, this couching was fun. I'll take a photo of this just so you can see how shiny it looks too, and I'll post it in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. So next week we will be working on the Aurifil Block of the Month quilt. We are making all of those cornerstones for the front of the quilt. So we're going through 20 different super basic quilt blocks, and we're making them all like 4 inches. So just like a bunch of basic quilt blocks, like a half square triangle, a little log cabin, just a square and a square. So some of these basic ones some of them I've never done, and these are the building blocks for other quilt blocks, larger quilt blocks. So I think it'll be just fun to do some more of those. I think we can crank out a whole pile of them next week. All of them even, which would be great. And then we'd be way further on finishing up the front of that Aurifil quilt, which would be great. I'd love to have that done. So, all right, thank you guys for joining me. Have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you again on Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Have a great evening. Good night.